This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We've got a good one for you today, don't we, Papa Dude?
Oh, it's loaded with action today.
Yes. We will not be just telling stories. We've got stuff to go over today. If you haven't joined us before or you're joining us for the first time, this time of year we do a lot of Oaklawn and a couple with a little bit of sports at the end. And we've got 3 huge races at Oaklawn Park we're going to talk about on this show. Southwest, the King Cotton, and, of course, the Martha Washington. So 3 big races at Oaklawn, then the NFL with their conference championship games. We'll talk about those. This is a crazy, crazy good weekend, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You got Oaklawn on Saturday and the Pegasus, which keeps you guys occupied. And, of course, those are big races and a great card at Gulfstream. It was impossible to handicap those last 5 or 6 races.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have any odds, which sometimes I do better without the odds. But anyway, those were hard. And then the NFL games, we probably got the 4 best teams going at it. There's no fools.
If you like horses, you like sports, you like to gamble, this is great because – you know, both those NFL games are great. Really, those races at Gulfstream, you could go 100 different ways.
Oh, gosh.
At Oaklawn, I'm not 100% sure you can go 100 different ways, but you can go a couple different ways, I think. And we'll get to talk about it a little bit more at Oaklawn of, here's a heavy favorite. Are we going with them or are we going to beat them?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of how you saw it?
Oh, yeah. And there's not as many horses in some of these fields either, which makes a huge difference. And yeah, I think there's some clear-cut favorites. I mean, I narrowed it down to 3 pretty easy.
Yeah.
In the Oaklawn races. I don't know if you did, but I did. I don't see a lot of long shots coming through in that, but you never know. Have you checked the weather? I'm not to do that. I think it's going to be okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been off and on throughout the week on whether it's going to rain or not. Right now, it doesn't look too bad. So I think we're going to get lucky there. Hopefully we do. I hate Oaklawn when the weather gets rough. It makes for a weird track. So, all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's talk about it.
All right.
We're going to talk about the main event first.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Southwest, of course, a Kentucky Derby prep race here, a field of 9. It's going to be a good one. $750,000 what they're running for here in the last weekend of January. Going 1 mile and a 16th. All right, Papa Dude, you said you've narrowed most of these down to 3. Mm-hmm. Who are the 3? Let us know.
Well, on this one, I narrowed it down to 3 pretty easy, but I also got a couple of others I threw in. So the others I have 3. This one I have 5, but I really don't think these last 2 are going to win. But anyway, this is the weekend that Oaklawn gets started, really. Yeah. It's been kind of, I don't want to say it's been boring, but they haven't really had anything big time going. Now it will the rest of the meet. I mean, this is when they get rolling. This race is usually around President's Day, or it used to be, on a Monday. And anytime I think of the Southwest, you know what I'm going to say. I'll never forget the day we were down there. And they had to call it off because it was so cold.
Yep.
It was awful. And the day before we were down there, and it snowed so hard that you could not see a thing on the back stretch. That was the weirdest feeling. We were sitting upstairs. It was really neat. We're sitting up there and it's all warm and it's cold and those horses are running and you have no idea who's ahead until they turn for home. And then the next day was so freezing cold, they had to call it off. Anyway, I don't remember who that big horse was that year. Do you? That's stretching your memory pretty good there.
Seems like that was the year Conveyance maybe shipped in.
Could have been.
Gosh, I can't remember. It's been a long time, but yeah.
I'm going to think, was it that horse that Larry Jones had?
No, wasn't him.
No. Okay.
It seemed like maybe Dublin's year. I think Dublin was around maybe then. I can't remember, but yeah, what happened was the day before, it was weird. It wasn't really that cold, but it was snowing, which is strange.
Biggest flakes you ever saw.
It was like a rain snow, and you couldn't see on the backside over there at all. Even if you were live on the track, you couldn't see. And then the next day, it was so bitterly cold that the track froze. But yeah, thankfully, that's not going to happen this year.
No, but it might get sloppy. So anyway, all right, let's get going here. I'll just throw out my 5 horses. It's very interesting. We talked about this on the Daily Show this morning with Baffert shipping in a horse for the Southwest. Normally, the horses he ships in for the Southwest, if he ships one at all, it's not one of his best ones.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has potential, and a lot of people are really high. Only ran 1 race, broke his maiden, won by 7 lengths, a Baffert horse. Velasquez coming in, I think that's a sign that Baffert likes this horse a lot. Mm-hmm. So not tested. We'll see what happens. We'll see how good he is. Then you got the Brad Cox horse, Corona Bolt, another one that has been impressive. Got that one. You got to throw him in there, I think. Then we have, what's the next one I've got down? JC's Road. Another Cox horse. I'm looking at the 2. Well, there's actually 3, but I'm looking at the 2 that I like the best, and I see which jockey he's got where. So he's got Pratt on Bolt, which is an indication he likes that horse better. Yeah. So I've got to put him ahead of JC's Road. So my top 3 are Arabian Knight, Corona Bolt, and JC's Road, 6-2-3. But I think you got to look at number 5, Frosted Departure, a little bit, and I threw in the Asmussen horse just to throw one in. That horse has ran well at times. Could be an upset possibility there.
Let's see where to begin. I think Red Route 1 is the upsetter if there's going to be one, actually. So I actually have Red Route 1 in second.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. And I will start with the Asmussen horse. We're big Asmussen fans, and this is not a biased pick for me because I'm not hugely high on this horse, but let's think about it.
Okay.
Let me be clear. Arabian Knight, the 6th horse, is my top pick in the race, and I don't think they're going to beat him. Okay, so I'll be very clear about that. Number 6, Arabian Knight, top choice. You kind of said all there is that needs to be said about him, though, right?
Yeah.
He's 1 for 1. He's really good. He's got a great speed figure. He looks like the next really nice horse. We don't need to discuss him very much, but let's talk about who's going to come in second. To me, Corona Bolt's got speed. JC's Road's got speed. If Arabian Knight goes to the front, I can kind of see them getting ran into submission a little bit. And you know who I think is the perfect candidate at 10-1 to pick up the pieces? Red Route 1, because he's not going to get involved up front. He's going to sit back. He's going to try to make one run. And I think he could come up there and hit the board at a big price. So I put Red Route 1 in second. I want to talk Corona Bolt. Kevin B brings it up. I'll bring up some of the other comments here in just a second. Kevin is right. Isn't it weird that Pratt shows up here to ride Corona Bolt? Kevin, right after Corona Bolt won at Fairgrounds, well, I shouldn't say right after, but a day or 2 after, we were told Pratt was coming. So they've had this plan. You don't get a jockey like Pratt to come in to ride just to nobody. So Corona Bolt is probably the next likely horse to win if Arabian Knight does not. However, he also, to me, is a horse that might get burnt up a little bit by Arabian Knight. So I think for Corona Bolt to win, he's going to have to sit off the pace a little bit, try to make a run late. We'll see how that's going to affect him. But like I said, I really like Red Route 1 to kind of pick up the pieces here as a price horse. I'm seeing a lot of love for the 8 Hit Show. You didn't mention him. He's kind of the other Brad Cox. What did you think of Hit Show?
I just didn't see enough about him. Of the 3, I think he's the weakest. You know, I just didn't. He had to eliminate some of them. So I just don't see him being that good. The other thing about Red Route 1, this horse is not going to be intimidated by anything from the races he's been in.
Yes.
He has ran in a grade 1, a grade 3, and a grade 2. He has much more experience than these other ones, if that means anything.
I think it does. And let me get to that point. I'm glad you said it because I forgot to even mention that was one of my bigger points on this. This horse has been up against Instant Coffee and beat him 2 races back, finished third to him despite trouble last time out. Instant Coffee comes back to win. I still don't think Instant Coffee's like this elite horse or anything like that, but he's the barometer, right? And I think Red Route 1 can serve as the barometer here. You're going to have to be decent to beat Red Route 1, just like you're going to be decent to beat Instant Coffee. And maybe decent's not the right word. Maybe you're going to have to be good, to beat him. And I think Red Route 1 is just that. I think he's a barometer. I think it's like, okay, Arabian Knight's really good, but what if he loses to Red Route 1? Then we know everybody in this race is just like, yeah, they're not that great. So the class is a big thing. And when you've got class and experience over some of the top choices that don't really have that, it plays a factor, right? I mean,
I think so.
If all the horses in here that were top contenders had 2 or 3 races under their belt, maybe it doesn't help. But when you got Arabian Knight who's only got 1 race under his belt, you're still kind of learning with him a little bit. I think a horse like Red Route 1, if he's going to get him, it's going to be here.
Well, the other thing is, too, he's even money, Arabian Knight is.
Yeah.
With 1 race, if his trainer wasn't Baffert, he wouldn't be even money.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
He automatically gets a pass because he looked fantastic breaking his maiden because Baffert's the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always leery of a heavy favorite at even money that's ran 1 race. Now, he may blow him away, but to me, it takes – I got to see it with my own eyes. I don't know how strong this field is. We know Corona Bolt's pretty good, and there's some others in there that are going to give him a battle. But even money on 1 race, I don't know. That's – and I don't think he'll go up.
No.
In fact, he may go to 3-5, 4-5, and I think you try to beat him if he does.
Yeah. So Michael's saying, the 8 hit show is going to be that closer. And if you think it's going to melt down behind Arabian Knight, maybe that's how he gets in the number. The one thing about hit show that I did not like, 2 races back, he ran against Confidence Game. He ran against Rocket Can, that allowance race. Confidence Game's not much. Like, he didn't run very well. I mean, he wasn't awful last week, but he wasn't great. I mean, there's not, I don't know. I don't really like hit show all that much in this spot, but play him in third. Weirder things can happen. And yeah, as Shadi mentions, I dropped Red Route 1 on the fantasy league. So drafted him in the 5th round and dropped him. So that would not be good if he won for me. Yeah. Dennis
you dropped him pretty early too.
Yeah, I dropped him for Faustin, and obviously wish I would have dropped Rudder's Men and got Faustin. That would have been much better, but oh well, what are you going to do? Dennis says he likes the 1, kind of for that same reason, going to come from out of it. McPeak at a price. We're going to talk about McPeak at a short price. You talked about Frosted Departure, McPeak at a price. What about Sun Thunder? Any thoughts on him?
About this, I look at him about the same. Frosted Departure won on the 31st in a stakes race at Oaklawn. And that's worth something. That means the horse likes the track, and a lot of horses don't. And, yeah, both of these horses are capable. That McPeak, I think he won on that day. McPeak won 4 times
Yep.
on that day. Swept both. Were there 2 stakes that day, or was there one day and one the other? He won them both on that weekend. I can't remember what it was.
Yep.
Generally, his horses don't come back real well sometimes. That's why I didn't throw him in there in the top. Wouldn't be surprised, though. You got to kind of look at him.
You're stealing a lot of my thoughts because you're right. The 1 and the 5, it was New Year's Eve, and I was so pissed off because he kept knocking me out of shit. And I was in Colorado cussing and throwing shit and really mad. And anyway, but I kind of made a note of it. It's like sometimes his horses will go on a run there for about a week where they look unbeatable. And then their next races aren't as good as that last one. Frosted Departure and Sun Thunder are very, very, very good in those races. And they're the right price for McPeak, 10-1, 15-1, kind of a piss you off type of horse. So, yeah, I get it. All right, end of the day, though, we're both going Arabian Knight on top, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
But if he goes to 3-5, you got to get creative to make any money with him,
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it closely because I I've heard a lot of very nice things about the number 6 Arabian Knight. And listen, his speed figure for that one race is higher than anybody else, and he does have to go 2 turns today. New challenge, jump up in class. I know a lot of different challenges, but the horse he beat determinedly in that race came back to win twice. I think he's gonna be tough. Now that being said, I'm with you. 3 to 5. I'm gonna bet on the win, and I think that's what he'll be. That's why I like that 6-7 straight exacta. I think that's what I'm going to play in this one.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. We're going to go backwards. We'll go to the King Cotton now. It's going to be race 8 on the card here at Oaklawn. $150,000 purse. It's going 6 furlongs. Field of 8. Of course, the heavy favorite here will be Gunite, the 7 horse for Steve Asmussen. Are we going with Asmussen here, or are we going to go with a little bit of a price?
Oh, I think you have to. I think he's the class of the race. Don't you? I just don't. He just is. You look at his last, what have I got written down here? 4 races, 2nd in a grade 2, 2nd in a grade 1, won a 250K, 4th in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, which probably may not be his distance. Golly, that's pretty impressive. The breeding is unbelievable. If he's ready, I think he should win. I'm a little bit worried. Asmussen's horses are not running very well, although he did pick up a couple of wins last weekend. Looks showing some signs maybe of coming around. This could be a weekend I could see him turning around. And it'll start here. I like the horse too. You got to look at the 3 because Broberg has got this horse running really well.
Yeah.
And he won over in a prep for this race. What was it, like 150K? No, it was a 250. He won easily. I mean, he looked great. So I like him. And the other horse I really like at 5 to 1 is the one. Tijuana, however you pronounce it, Tijuana Twist.
Yeah.
And the reason I like it is the trainer is just knocking it out of the ballpark at Oaklawn right now. And the horse has won 3 in a row. So I think you got to look at the 1. So I like 7-3-1.
Tell you what this race reminds me of. It reminds me so much of what weekend was that? Last weekend or 2 weekends ago when Ginobili ran against Red Heart Superstar?
I think it was 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, it was 5th season. It reminds me so much of this, where like you've got sprinters in here that are like Tijuana Twist, Flash of Mischief, Garhole. I'll throw him in there.
Yeah,
horses. It's like, yeah, man, these are really good Oaklawn horses, really good at this level. Then you kind of got that other one, like Gunite, who's just a little bit classier than the rest of them, have been in tougher races, gets the drop down. And even though those other horses are really intriguing, just kind of feels like Gunite's going to outclass them in this spot. I feel like they ran Gunite in the wrong race at the Breeders' Cup. Yeah. I think if he would have been in the sprint, he would have won. You go back and watch that dirt mile, he ran great, but the mile is not his thing. It's just not. If he gets back to his top race, I'm just afraid they're all running for 2nd in the spot.
I do too. And don't forget in that Breeders' Cup, he was coming off 2 weeks rest.
Yeah, so he was coming off 2 weeks rest. He was stretching out to a distance he didn't really like.
Right.
He went up against Cody's Wish, who was amazing last year, and Cyberknife, who was going to be the favorite in the Pegasus World Cup Saturday.
Yeah.
He was defeated by 4 lengths by those 2 horses in a race that he did not want to be there as far as going a mile.
Right.
I'm not sure you beat him here.
I don't think the class isn't there to beat him in this race if he's ready.
I think it's a disappointment if he loses this one. I have a lot of respect in Flash of Mischief. In the race last time out, and by the way, we both picked this horse to win that race last time out that you referred to. That was a laugher. I mean,
it was 7 lengths.
Yeah, we were texting like top of the stretch. It's like, oh, he's got this.
No, he smoked him.
Yeah, but I'll hit the pause button for anybody thinking, well, maybe with this horse, and maybe I don't blame you guys to take a shot against a heavy favorite.
Oh no.
He stepped up to grade 1 company 2 races back, and he was 9th, beaten 7th.
Yes.
And he got beat by horses I don't think are as good as Gunite. I don't think Elite Power, CZ Rocket, and Jackie's Warrior at that time, I'm not sure they were as good as Gunite.
No. And he should not be 9-5 with Gunite there.
No. And I don't think he'll end up being. No. Let's talk about the Arkansas bred because we love him. Number 5, Garhole. Coming out of that Arkansas bred race where he did what he does when he faces Arkansas breds, dominate. We've seen him against open company twice. He's lost twice. Any interest to him second off the layoff, third off the layoff at 12-1?
Not at 5 years old. I just don't think. I think his best days are behind him. He didn't run that well last year as a 4-year-old. Remember, he was a 3-year-old. I believe he was 3 when he was wiping everybody out down there. What a horse. He is fun to watch. And if Gunite doesn't win, I'm rooting for him. I just don't see it. I think they're wasting him in this race. Don't you?
Feels weird that he's in here. If he would have ran in that allowance last year and just dominated, it's like, okay, it's time. But it seems like we could find a better spot for him. But that being said, Ortiz has done it before, and look at this aboard. I thought it was interesting. Johnny Velasquez jumps aboard. Now, obviously, he's here to ride Arabian Knight, but this is not a bad pickup mount for Johnny.
I'm shocked, aren't you? They got him.
He's probably the best jockey that an Arkansas bred's ever had aboard. That's for
sure.
I
would have to look back on that, but I'm willing to bet you're right. And by the way, Broberg's got the hottest jockey I've seen in a long time at Oaklawn, riding for him. Yeah, Christian Torres is cleaning up down there.
He's doing a good job, doing a really good job.
Yep.
Oaklawn's got some young jocks that are doing a nice job. Kind of
really are.
Up-and-comers. Wasn't all that long ago, Ricardo Santana was just an Oaklawn up-and-comer, and now, he's on the national stage. So
exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, we're both going Gunite here. Speaking of Ricardo, he'll be back aboard Gunite in this one. I will be disappointed if he loses in this spot. All right, let's go back in time a little bit further. We'll do one more race here. Race 5 on the card is the Martha Washington at Oaklawn Park. $200,000 for the fillies, 3-year-olds going a mile and 16th. Kind of cool to have the filly race and the boys race both at the same distance, so we can kind of compare times. It's always kind of fun to do on these big cards. Also, Kentucky Oaks prep, obviously. Field of 6, but I think it's an interesting group.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the more wide open of the 3 we're going to talk about, even though there's only 6 runners. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, I saw the 5, Olivia Twist, run about as impressive a race as I've seen down there in her start.
Talking about Oaklawn, yep.
Yeah.
Talking about Remington.
Yeah, Remington, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right.
The horse was invincible at Remington. Just whipped him. Love the horse. And I also saw the 3.
Yeah.
And very impressive. The thing, as we mentioned before, the McPeak horses sometimes don't come back and run very good that next time. I think if she comes back and runs like she did the last time, she's going to win. So I like the 3. I don't really like D. Wayne's horse that well. I just don't. The other interesting one's the 1. Mm-hmm. Wet Paint. A lot of people are talking about this horse maybe being an upset. A lot of the websites I use are picking this horse. Cox Pratt has probably got something to do with it. I'm going to go 3-1-5.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about time form. They like the 1 with the website you're talking about there. Mm-hmm. that you use, and I do as well for past performances. And again, this is another New Year's Eve Cox horse, right? Another one with this 3 defining purpose. I'm sorry, McPeak horse.
Yeah.
And another, like you said, he won 4 that day. This is another one. Here's the difference: McPeak in the Southwest is 10-1 and 15-1.
Right.
He's 6-5 in this one.
Right.
I'll take a shot against him in this race.
You could. Absolutely.
I'm going Wet Paint for Brad Cox, the number 1.
Well,
2 races back, did break the maiden over the dirt at Indiana, which, hey, whatever. But you know what? Giant Mischief also debuted at Indiana before going on to be pretty good in his next 2 starts. Last time out, synthetic surface, got second. That speed figure is fast out of that race, and that's what time form has as well. I really think the horse is better on the dirt. I think he pulls off a little bit of an upset here with the 1 Wet Paint. I like Brad Cox a little bit here.
Yeah, let me rephrase what I said. I'm going 3-5-1, but if he goes down below 6-5, I'm going to try to beat him. Defining purpose, and I think the horse might. I don't know how much money the 5 is going to take.
I think that's the key as well, and that's going to mention next. I'm talking about the 5 here. Now, Olivia Twist. I love this horse. Singled the horse at Remington, the race you were talking about.
Yeah.
I just thought she stood out. We talked about that race on the show.
Yeah.
But now's the test, right? This
Yes.
is the acid test. If you remember on Remington night, really good shippers came in for the Springboard Mile. Nobody shipped in for the trapeze. So what are we going to do now that we're facing, I don't know how to phrase it without being insulting to the Remington horses, but better horses, let's just say. What are we going to do? That's the question.
That's the key. And this is where you separate the men from the boys, and the girls from the women in this case.
Yeah.
If she comes out and wins, I think we got a horse that's pretty good. I like the fact that Taurus is on the horse. I think that's good. Yeah. And just don't know. I think she's going to go off 3-1, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Russ chimes in and says he does not think Taxed, the 6 horse, should be 15-1. We'll talk about this one here in a bit, or right now, I should say. Broke the maiden in a $50,000 maiden claiming race, 2 races back at Churchill Downs, gate to wire fashion. Went into the stakes race that Defining Purpose won, the year's end stakes, and was 4th, beaten 8. I think if you have that opinion that you don't think Tax should be 15-1, you're going to get every bit of 15-1. I don't think this horse has taken any money Saturday. What about you?
Maybe he meant the horse should be 30-1.
Well, if that's the case, then I would agree. But I think if you like him, you're going to get that prize.
I'm kidding you, Russ. I'm just going to throw out my thoughts, and they're not worth anything. And I like the guy. I can't bet Randy Morse in a stakes race. I just cannot do it. I think he's a great groomer and trainer of horses. They're beautiful. And if you got a horse and you want that horse taken care of, that's who you give it to, I think. Yeah. Just has trouble winning these kind of races. And that's why the horse will be the prettiest horse in the bunch, probably. Yeah, I always tell my wife when we go, because she knows horses and more than I do. I said, now you got to kind of watch a couple of these guys because their horses, they just stand out. Have you ever seen a guy with better looking horses than him, Aaron?
No.
They are gorgeous. He does a fantastic job, and he loves them. I've seen him with $5,000. I'll never forget me and you were down there one day. Remember this? And that horse overheated.
Yeah.
And it was like a $5,000 claim when the big time horse. And he went sprinting out there and got that water hose to that horse as quick as he could.
Yep.
I'll never forget that. I'm impressed by him.
For sure. Yep.
That impressed me, but I just can't bet him here. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't. I am too. I'd love to see him win.
Yeah.
Well, not for my tickets, but for Randy. I mean, if you're gonna,
he's a great guy. Seems like.
Yeah, who's the best guy in this race from a training perspective? Probably him. But I'm with you. I just can't get there as far as a win in this spot here. Yeah, Michael says he likes the 5 a little bit here. Olivia Twist, or a lot, I should say.
I do too.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, this is the proving ground, right?
What do you think about D. Wayne's?
Yeah, take charge, Brianna.
Great breeding.
Wow, fantastic breeding. I can't get there. I can't get there. A lot of races, not very good, most of them.
Do you? Probably shouldn't even say anything. I don't have any confidence in him anymore.
Well, he did win the Kentucky Oaks last year.
I know. I don't know why I shouldn't even say that. It's hard for me to bet him anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I would. Well, it's tough to figure out when his horses are really going to fire. That's the truth of the matter. And his barn. It's hard to say it isn't very good. It does have the Oaks winner in it, but overall, the depth of the barn isn't what it was. But I wouldn't count him out. But
no, especially in this race.
Yeah, but I just can't get there with him though.
No, I can't either. He is having a solid season though. He's having pretty good running well.
Yeah. He's having a pretty good meet.
Yeah.
The trainer here. What do we think of? Or not the trainer, the jockey here. Where do you land with her when she rides on a horse?
Yeah, it's too soon to tell, isn't it?
Well, I mean, she's been around a little now, made the rounds a little bit. I don't think it's a negative. I think she does okay.
Yeah, she's ran all right down there.
You've got to give her a little more time. I do agree with Papa Dude, but at the same time, I think pretty quick on some of them that okay, automatic fade. I don't really look at that with her. I think she's doing a decent job. I gotta think it's tough, especially a place like Oaklawn, to break into the kind of the rotation. These jockeys have seemingly been there forever. It feels like.
Well, yeah, and you got these new guys like Torres and Juarez, and Arrieta's having a heck of a meet. He's not really new, but man, he's having a fantastic meet. It's tough. I think Santana's like 6th in the standings right now, 5th or 6th.
Yeah. With her percentages aren't going to be great because your percentages are only as good as your horses, whether you're a jockey or a trainer, either one.
And let me back up on D-Wayne a minute. I hope that I'm around at his age, and I hope I got as much energy as he does because it is amazing what this guy does.
Oh yeah. It's pretty amazing to see him day in and day out. Yeah. No, I think I knew what you meant. It's just he is definitely up there in age, and the barn is not as strong as normal as far or as it used to be with the depth of what he's got.
Yeah,
and it is what it is at this point. Not a lot of clients left, but the ones he has are still sending him some decent ones now and then. Like I said, this one's really well bred. We'll see what happens. So. All right, I'm going to go wet paint as the top choice. You are going to go to 3 defining purposes unless she gets bet down. If she gets bet down, who are you going with? The 5?
Oh boy, 5 I hope wins, but I'm kind of with you. I got to go with the Cox Pratt combination.
Yeah, I'm a little leery of the 5.
Got to prove it. I keep having it in my back of my mind, the Tyler's Tribe. Yeah. He flamed out, and I'm a little worried about this one.
Yeah, I mean, that it is a Kentucky bred. It's not an Iowa bred. Not that it does matter. Let's be honest. But, so it's not like this horse came out of nothing, but until you see it against a little bit better competition, you're never quite sure. With the horses that run at Remington and places like that, So we'll see. All right. Any final thoughts on Oaklawn?
It'll be a heck of a day. I just hope the rain stays away and the weather's good. Hopefully. We'll see what happens.
I agree with you 100% on that. Real quick, before we go to the NFL, we're not going to cover the Pegasus in depth here. That'll be on Magic Mike and Bleakers Off, which are coming up right after these shows or this show is over. But give me who did you put on top in the Pegasus?
I went with the Baffert horse, Defunded. I kind of look at these races. I went back and looked at their last 3 races of 2022. Seems to me like that horse was running the best at the end of the year. That's kind of what I go on for whatever it's worth. I put Proxy second, Cyberknife third. I've never been a big Cyberknife fan. I don't dislike the horse. And the one I think you got to look at that might upset the apple cart is Skippy Longstocking. Mm-hmm. I've got that horse 4th. Yep. I know Somich picked White Barrio, and that horse runs well at Gulfstream, but I can't go there.
Yeah, I couldn't go with White Barrio either. Listen, I put Cyberknife. I think he's the best horse in the race. I'm worried about his trip. But
he's way outside.
Huh?
He's way outside.
He is outside. I am worried about the trip a little bit, but I'll get more in depth to it at Blinkers Off tonight. I think 6 o'clock Central Time, Blinkers Off will happen tonight. I'll do a little more in depth preview of it, but I put Cyberknife on top with you on Skippy Longstocking. Singled him last time he ran at Gulfstream. He came through for me. Sometimes it gets you a little bit biased when a single comes through, but I think he's improving, and I think he's slowly improving all year. I think he's still improving. Skippy Longstocking is a horse that's very interesting to me, and I don't blame you for picking that Baffert. He probably is going to have that horse ready to roll. So,
yeah, we'll see. I don't know. To me, and it's no fault of anything, the race is missing superstars. These are solid horses, but there are no superstars left in that class from last year. They're either hurt, retired, or whatever. And we kind of got the B team kind of running here. The A team's retired or hurt or not, whatever's going on.
Well,
so
or Taba, who would be this quote unquote superstar horse in the race. He was entered, but he's going to Saudi instead. And that's another problem with the Pegasus. When the Pegasus started, it was Pegasus and then Dubai. And then the Saudis came in with a race. And now I think year after year, it's going to end up hurting the Pegasus because it's such a high purse over in Saudi versus Pegasus, which is $3 million. But that's nothing to sneeze at. But
no.
That is what
if I had a horse this age, I think $3 million would be pretty good to win that purse, wouldn't you?
Yep. Hey, there's Dr. Miranda. What's up, Doc? She says, Papa Dude, let's all plan a weekend to go down to Oaklawn.
All right.
Down there this meet. I like it.
That sounds good.
Rebel, Miranda. I think Rebel. We should all do it. That would be a good one.
What's the date on that?
February, last weekend in February.
Okay.
Yeah.
That may be doable.
Not the Rebel. I can't go to the Derby this year. So
really?
Yeah. Well, I can't say on air why, but it's nothing bad. I'll tell you after, but it's a surprise why I can't. So
I got it. Well,
about ruining a surprise maybe for somebody. Although
to me, the Derby hasn't been very good the last couple of years. As good as it has been. For me, I didn't like it as well. The Rebel is a great weekend, and then the Apple Blossom.
Yep,
is the one. That's the
Apple Blossom is,
I believe.
I'm going to the Apple Blossom this year because I can't go to the Derby. So yeah that's going to happen. By the way, before we go on to football, Dennis, he had a huge cash at Turfway Park last night.
Good job, Dennis.
Big time. He had a 43-1 winner and a 35-1 in second. So
wow.
Good job to Dennis. He listens all the time. He's always on here. Great cash. Turfway, that's kind of his jam right now. Big Kentucky guy. So
he is.
Good job to Dennis. All right, Papa Dude, you've hit 7 races in a row on the Daily Show.
Right.
We are running right now.
I have no confidence.
Not going to get to 8. Oh, your horse got pinched pretty bad here.
Yeah, I didn't really have much confidence today.
We've got a photo that went to the 6, 7. Our horse, we both had the 3, pinched pretty bad and kind of stopped.
What's 6's name?
The 6 horse was Alternate Rock. I think you talked about him.
Yeah, I had him 3rd.
Yeah, Alternate Rock wins it. The 7 Clay Soldier 2nd. I don't know who got there.
Yeah. I didn't like that race. I think Somich did it on purpose just to get me beat.
I think he did too. He was in a wicked mood today. So.
He was mean today. Yeah.
He was kind of I don't think he's ever been described as mean his whole life, but
no, he wasn't mean.
He was mean today. So anyway, congratulations
to
Henri. There you go.
Yeah, Dennis, I don't know when you made that bet, but if you made it kind of late in the day, the alcohol that you consume through most of the day is beginning to kick in. You thought those horses were 4-1 and 3-1 instead of 43-1 and 35-1.
Now we've got to the bottom of what happened.
That's what happened.
He's looking at it. He's like, why did I like these horses? I didn't.
I'm blind. I can't see the.
No, that's that. Okay, but to be clear, that's not what happened.
No, Dennis is a good handicapper. I'll tell you for sure.
Exactly. Let's stick with
He
that.
does a great job.
All right, let's go on and let's do the NFL here real quick before we get you out of here. On to the other shows today. It's going to be two great games. Papadou talked about it early on. We've got one line that hasn't moved a bit, and we've got one line who's all over the place. Let's talk about the first one, the one that hasn't moved a bit, at least that I've seen. Right. 49ers on the road to take on the Eagles. The Eagles have been 2.5 point favorites throughout. Who do you like, 49ers or Eagles?
Well, after last week, I'm an Eagles supporter now. I tell you.
Oh, I know you are.
They dominated the Giants, and I think most of us thought that would be a pretty good game, and that was a rout. They took it to them, and they just dominated them in every phase of the game. I came away from that very, very impressed. And the 49ers did what they were supposed to do. But as I said on the Daily Show yesterday, that catch that Kittle made was one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. That was a tremendous – you talk about concentration. You know, watching him catch it in slow motion, it was a tremendous catch. As bad as Prescott played and as bad as the Cowboys were on offense, if he doesn't make – and by the way, they don't have a kicker. If he doesn't make that catch, I'm not sure they win that game. That was a big, big play in that game. What I'm getting at is Purdy didn't do anything to win that game, in my opinion. And I still think that's going to be the difference. The Eagles are not going to be able to line up and just run the ball like they did against the Giants. The Niners are not going to let that happen. Their defense is too good. So Hurts is going to have to throw the ball, but he's shown he can. But when you stack them up, you got the quarterback, Purdy against Hurts. Who wins that?
Yeah.
That's the Eagles, hands down.
Yeah.
Running back, McCaffrey against Sanders and Hurts. You can argue either way on that.
It's a wash. I mean,
yeah.
You also have to put Debo in the mix for when we talk about running for the they're both very good.
Right. Yeah. I think receivers are comparable, but I do think the Eagles have a little more dynamic at the receiver position. I think they're a little more dynamic. They can do a little bit more. Tight end, that's 49ers. Kittle is good. I mean, there's only one better, and he's going to play in the next game we're going to talk about. Yeah. Rush offense, Eagles. Pass offense, Eagles. Run defense is the Niners for sure. It's kind of a wash on pass defense. So most of the matchups go the Eagles' way. If they don't turn it over, I think they win, and I'm going to go Eagles -2.5. I think they cover.
I'm with you. I'm a little bit scared right now, to be completely honest. I'm kind of with Kevin B here. If it goes up to 3, I don't know. I may have to go 49ers, but at 2.5, I still like the Eagles. I think it's going to be a close game. I just think I'm with you. It's like if the Eagles can force Purdy to beat them,
yeah,
I think they're going to win this game. I really do.
The Niners are going to have to run the ball.
Yeah,
they have to.
Yeah.
If you watch the game closely, they don't ask Purdy to do much. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a great story. I mean, the guy is amazing. It is amazing.
I'm rooting for him. Yeah.
And he deserves all the credit in the world.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And but I got to see it. And I just feel like the Eagles, if they play like they did last week, I don't think the Niners can beat them. I don't.
I think our biggest problem with Brock Purdy is we have maybe not to people that are listening to this show, but to the general public, we've actually seen him play.
Oh yeah,
in ton of games.
Yeah,
you know, Brock Purdy is not an unknown to us, right? And like I said, a lot of our listeners watch a lot of games as well, but he's not an unknown commodity to us, and that's a problem because we've seen, especially in big games, him not play that well, or maybe play pretty well and then make some killer mistakes, right?
Yeah. And you know, we both thought the Eagles might be nervous, might choke, might struggle.
Yeah.
No, they came out and they just blew them away. That's the sign of a team that's good. They're confident. They're well coached. Now the Niners are better than the Giants. There's no doubt about it. And they're gonna game plan, and they'll have a defense set up to give the Eagles some problems. So the key for the Eagles is don't give the 49ers any points. You can't do it. Make them earn their points. I don't think they score enough to beat them.
So Gabe thinks that the rush offense for the 49ers outdoes the Eagles.
I don't.
Okay, well, what's your counterpoint?
Have you not seen Jalen Hurts run the damn ball? Have you not seen Miles Sanders run the ball? Are you watching?
Well, there's his counterpoint, Gabe.
Yeah, I don't know what you're watching, Gabe. I don't. Sanders running all over the damn field.
Have you seen Mitchell or McCaffrey, Papa Dude?
Mitchell? I've seen Mitchell without McCaffrey.
I love the reply, whether you're right or wrong.
Well, I love McCaffrey. I think he's a great player. I do.
Yeah.
But I've seen Jalen Hurts run over everybody. I'm not saying he's going to run over the 49ers. I'm not saying that. Those guys are great on defense.
Yeah.
I just don't think if the Eagles don't give them points, I don't think they can score enough. I don't.
I will kind of go the Kevin B comment here. I think it makes sense. If you take Hurts out of the equation,
Absolutely.
I would take the skill players on the 49ers as far as running the ball for sure. But you don't take Hurts out of the equation. He knows he's probably going to run, and so then I think it does kind of even that matchup up a little bit more. Again, like I will take McCaffrey over anybody else in the game as far as running. I will. I think McCaffrey is elite
Over anybody.
Yeah, I would take McCaffrey over Sanders in this game. I'm talking about in this game.
But you got to include Hurts.
I would take McCaffrey over Hurts as far as running the ball.
You would?
Yes, I would. McCaffrey is a star.
Well, he is, but so's Hurts.
It could be a situation where McCaffrey is the best. I know you don't think that, but I do.
No, I think he's good.
And then Sanders and Hurts are right there, 2-3, and then Mitchell's 4. That could be.
The knock I have on McCaffrey is he's hurt all the time. Now, I know he's healthy.
Not hurt for this game.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We're talking about this game.
Here's the deal.
He's going to be a big factor in a game. Come on.
What makes the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills to a certain extent so damn hard to defend? You got to account for the quarterback.
Yeah.
On every damn play.
Yeah, and they're killer yards too.
They are killer.
3rd and 5, and you've got everything stopped, and they break a run.
That's right. And if you don't keep somebody with him, he's going to do that. Yeah. And that's what Mahomes does. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Those are the kind of yards that kill a defense. It kills them.
Yep.
Because they do this time and time again, and that's what makes them so valuable. And that's why we see the NFL starting to go to this.
Yeah.
The difference between Hurts and some of these other guys is he don't look it. That guy is big. He is a big guy.
Yep, he is
tough.
One thing Gabe says it'll be interesting to see how much Hurts wants to run with a bum shoulder. I wouldn't worry about that one too much.
No.
I want to be very clear. At OU, Papa Dude absolutely loved him. Okay. I did not. And I am shocked that he is as good as he is. One thing I would always say about him, he's one of the toughest bastards I've ever watched.
Yes.
They borderline killed him at Oklahoma. They ran him like 20 times a game.
Yeah.
He's a tough son of a bitch. I am not worried about him being 10.
I will say this too, Gabe. I'm shocked he's been as good as he is in the NFL.
Yeah.
That shocks me. I knew he is a competitor.
Yeah.
he is tough. He carried that football team. He did, and people they didn't like him because he came in there and he'd been in Alabama, and OU people thought he should be thrilled to be at Oklahoma, and he looked at him like, "You're nuts. I've been at Alabama. This ain't nothing new to me."
He very much did not buy in one bit to Oklahoma being a big deal. Not one bit.
Not one bit.
He did not care about Oklahoma or what happened at Oklahoma or anything. And it was kind of funny. I agree. Gabe says he's an ISU and 49ers fan, equally shocked about Brock. And
well,
what's hard for me is Brock Purdy did a great job at Iowa State.
He did.
Minus like 15 plays in his career.
Well, I'm not on him like you are.
I know.
Because I've always felt like with Purdy, yeah, he did make some critical errors. I always felt like he tried to do a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw some passes he shouldn't have. But I also always thought they weren't very good. They weren't a great team. They were greatly coached. They played up to their ability. And I think he tried to do too much.
He did have some pretty good players around him, though.
He did.
And again, and I'm being realistic. For like Iowa State, that was pretty much talent-wise. It's
yes.
Not much better.
No.
So I don't know if I buy it or not. But that being said, he's doing unreal, and I am happy for him because I'm not sometimes people listen in horses too. They'll listen and I'll talk badly about a horse. It's betting. Like I don't hate Brock Purdy. I just don't have confidence betting him on the road in this game. I think he wins. That'd be great. But
if they weren't playing the Eagles, I'd be rooting my butt off for them.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I love the guy, and that's who I'm rooting for. But I got nothing against Purdy. I don't think Purdy did anything to win that game last week.
Right.
And I think he's going to have to do something to win this one. I guess that's where I'm going.
No, that makes sense. All right, let's transition here because Trish she thinks the 49ers are winning this one. And then she believes the Bengals are going to win the next one and thinks Joe Burrow is going to get his Super Bowl this year. Kevin B says, hey, the cool thing about it, we're going to have a great Super Bowl no matter what. And that is true. It's going to be really good. But that being said, let's talk about the Bengals and the Chiefs. This line's been everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Oddly enough, it settles today back where it started. Kansas City -1. Kansas City a day ago was +2.5.
Yeah.
So it all has to do with the injury. To me, I think people are seeing videos of Mahomes and he's not limping, and so now they've got confidence.
I do too. Well, I think they came out and said he practiced yesterday too, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Andy Reid said he practiced.
Well, they had videos of him like going through like drills, and he looked fine. Yeah.
Walkthroughs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
This is a game I'm staying completely away from because I think the Bengals are the best team. I do. Mm-hmm. I think they're the best team.
I do too.
I just have seen Mahomes do too many things, and I can't bet against him in Kansas City. Does it worry you that the Bengals have beat them 3 straight times? Or 2 straight, whatever it is.
Yeah, beat them 3 straight.
That worries me.
It doesn't me.
Okay, it does me.
Here's how I look at it. Flip it and say they were playing the Bills, right? The Bills can't beat them in the postseason. Then you'd be like, the Bills can't beat them in the postseason. You know what I mean? Which the Bengals, it's like, look, they did it last year. They did it in the regular season last year. They did it in the regular season this year. Why can't they? I
think they're better this year than they were last year.
I do too.
I think they're playing lights out. I want to take them really bad, the Bengals. And it's either way, 1 point line, you take whoever you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the line or anything, really. And it's just going to come down to, again, I think to beat the Chiefs, you got to get a lead. You got to stay more than 1 score ahead. Okay, that's really hard to do. You got to have the ball last. That's really hard to do. I am as high on Mahomes as they're possible to be. I just have seen this guy do too much, and I don't like him. But I tell you what, he's a tremendous player.
Yeah.
And if you guys think he's not going to play, you're crazy. He will be out there.
Even if he was hurt bad, he'd be out there. And not to say that he's not, but he looks fine. I know he's not, but he looks okay.
I did not see the game because I was gone.
Right.
And I've heard a couple, think he was showboating a little bit.
No, not
Okay.
even.
All right. I didn't see it. So
no. People that think that are nuts. That was
okay. I didn't see it.
a horrible looking injury.
Okay.
Horrible.
Well, he's tough as a boot. With high ankle sprains, pain tolerance is a big deal in it. You know, some people have high pain tolerance, and I just don't think it's going to bother him that bad. I just don't.
I'm going to tell everybody right now the key to the game. Okay.
Okay.
Listen closely. This is it. This is all it's going to come down to. All this talk about Mahomes and all this stuff, it isn't going to matter. There's one key to the game. The Bengals offensive line holding up against the Chiefs front. That's it.
True.
If they do, they will beat them. I guarantee it.
They won't be able
Here's
to
the deal, and people don't realize this because the Chiefs don't have a great defense. But you know where they're good? Up front. They can rush the passer. Last week, the Bills, I told you guys, are trash. And their defense especially is trash. And they couldn't expose the problems that the Bengals had. The Chiefs can expose it. That's the key. If their line holds up, they will win the game. I have zero doubt. I'm not 100% sold that it's going to. I'm still taking the Bengals to win the game. I think they're the better team. But that's the key. Their line has to hold up. Buffalo couldn't expose it. The Chiefs might be able to expose it.
Yeah.
And the one thing, and I think Burrow is the second best quarterback in this league.
He's very good.
He's not Hurts, Mahomes when it comes to mobility. You're going to have to protect him. Not that he can move, but he can't make a ton of plays with his feet.
He's not going to beat you scrambling.
What he can do is move around in the pocket and buy us a little bit of time to throw it, but he's not going to scramble on you. They're going to have to hold up. They're going to have to run the ball really well. Those are the keys. The front, that matchup, because Mahomes is going to get his. It's just going to happen. That matchup is going to be the key to the game right there. So we'll see. I think the Bengals win. I'm taking them. I'm not going to be shocked at all, though, if the Chiefs win.
No. It's going to be a classic, I think. Turnovers always play a role. Burrow's got to make sure not throw any interceptions. Make Mahomes earn everything. Burrow's got great weapons. Higgins, Jamar Chase is a superstar in my opinion. The guy is really good. Mixon is very underrated at running back. He's going to have a big game. They'll use him coming out of the backfield, I think. They'll throw the ball to him some. He ran like a man possessed last week. You know, you could tell he was ready in that game. I think the Bengals shut their mouth off a little bit. I don't think you do that when you're coming into the Kings building. You know, I don't like that part of it. I think they're better than the Chiefs. I do. I don't think the Chiefs were very impressive last week. I know he got hurt, but still, I don't think they were very impressive. I didn't see it, but I'm not high on the Jacksonville at all.
I'm going to tell you again, they can talk all they want. They can do whatever they want. If they block the Chiefs, the Chiefs have very little chance to win. They cannot cover the Bengals. There's no way.
No, I don't think so.
If they give him time, it's over. But that's the key. Right there.
Sacked a lot.
Expose that line.
Yeah. Now, they dominated the Bills, but the Chiefs, I think, are a little better than the Bills.
The Chiefs are way better than the Bills. The Bills sucked the last half of the year.
Yeah.
So that's overflating the Bengals. There's no question about it.
I got a question for you. Of course, I already know the answer, but, you know, after these games last week, everybody wanted to fire McCarthy
Right.
for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Which team of the 4, of the 8, I guess, looked the worst?
Well, I mean, the Bills were horrible
Well, how come we don't hear anybody wanting to fire McDermott?
because it's all about image and
I know.
people have in their mind.
It just baffles me.
If
Well, it's because it's Dallas, but I mean, McCarthy's team played good. Their quarterback didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't make any plays and he threw interceptions. And they don't have a kicker. That hurt them in certain situations when you don't have a confidence in your kicker.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else he could have done. When McDermott's team, did they look prepared? No. I'm not saying fire McDermott. Don't get me wrong. I just don't understand why no one's on him because they looked awful.
I mean, most quarterbacks, if they play how Josh Allen played, they would be saying, get him out of the league. And this, I mean,
yeah,
he was awful.
He was terrible.
I think Allen's hurt.
I do.
The last half of the season, he sucked. And he doesn't suck. Josh Allen is a good player. But he was awful.
Some of the throws he made were just really bad. And Dallas is, they have $40 million a year invested in Prescott, and he's not playing like a $40 million. I mean, they have a huge issue there.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's what Kevin said, the storyline. You're not going to talk about firing coaches after what happened with all that.
I didn't say you should fire him. I did not say that.
I know. And Kevin's right. I'm sitting there saying they were trash, this or that. It was injuries. They lost a bunch of guys on defense. And again, I think Josh Allen is hurt. And
I do too.
That caused Buffalo to be way inflated every week.
Yeah.
They weren't that good.
No. And I want to make it clear again, I don't say he should be fired. My point was, why are they on McCarthy?
Right, yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand how that was his fault when they went into the San Francisco. Their offense did nothing. And, they almost won.
I mean, to me, watching Dallas, it was clear what the problem was.
Yes.
They have no quarterback. He's awful.
No. And let's not forget, Pollard got hurt. That hurt him.
That hurt a lot because Zeke is not any good either.
No, so then they lost their running game.
Yeah, Zeke's washed up, and that's obviously a problem. But I just don't know why Dallas never thought, let's give Cooper Rush a shot at some.
Me neither. I would have put him in that game, I think.
And I was on record early in the year saying he's the best quarterback they've got, and Dak came back and at times played pretty well, right? But when Dak's struggling like that, why not? Why not put him back in the game and give him a shot? I mean, it couldn't have gotten any worse. It just couldn't have. So, I don't know.
It hurt him when they lost Pollard a lot.
Dr. Miranda says she hopes the Bengals win just so she can see Joey B on the big screen again for another week. Also can't stand the Chiefs. Wonder why. So,
by the way, speaking of coaches, has Zach Taylor not turned into a big-time coach?
Yeah, it's interesting how that's happened.
He's getting no credit.
Yeah.
They started, everybody was down on him when the season started, thinking they were a flash in the pan last year. They lost their first 2 games.
Yeah.
One was it Houston? It was somebody pretty bad beat them in week 2, I think.
I think Pittsburgh and Dallas beat them back-to-back. Maybe.
Okay, one of them was one they should have won.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh beat them first. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, they did. In that game, they screwed up their thing up, missed some field goals or something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, so they start off 0-2. Everybody's burying them.
Yeah.
And they go 12-2 the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And they played a very difficult schedule.
They were back and forth, not playing all that great. They lost to Cleveland 32-13.
Yeah.
And then after that, have reeled off. They haven't lost since. So it's been crazy. Yeah.
He's in charge over there on the sidelines. The guy is, he struggled a little bit last year, made some goofy decisions, and we were kind of on him a little bit. But you don't go back to back like this as impressively as they have.
It's pretty impressive. And if he can win the big one here and win the Super Bowl, it's going to be really impressive. All right, one last thing. Speaking of that, let's pretend that Trish is right. She said Joey B's getting the Super Bowl. That would mean he's going to beat Mahomes and go 4-0 against Mahomes. And he would have the same number of Super Bowl rings, 1, and the same number of Super Bowl appearances, 2, as Mahomes.
Wow.
Is he number 1 in the NFL if he wins the Super Bowl this year?
Man, that's pretty good. Man, how'd you dream that up? That's real good. Not as flashy. Yes, Mahomes, right? That means a lot.
Yep.
1 Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 4-0 against him. I hate quarterback comparisons. Like when you play the game, it's not Burrow against Mahomes. I hate that.
I'm with you.
Throw that 4-0 out. I don't like that at all.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's go the other 2. I'm going to go 1 and 1A. I can't choose between them. I love Burrow. I think he's a great player, and he's confident as hell. And you know what? He's tough as a boot too.
Yeah,
they both are. They're both great players.
If they go in and beat them, the argument can be made, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they got to go in there and beat them, and they got to get a Super Bowl. That's the big thing. He has to get it. That's the thing. Mahomes is a flashier player. I think he's shown a little bit more, ability to make the incredible play. But
been there a little longer.
It's all about winning Super Bowls.
It is.
If you get one, it makes it very, very interesting. And,
turn around the other way. We talked about this a little bit last year. The clock is ticking on the Chiefs. Okay, this is year 5 of Mahomes. 5th straight year they've won the division. I think it's the 5th straight year they've been in the finals, right?
Mm-hmm. AFC, yep.
What if they get beat?
I'm with you. I think this is a huge game for them and a huge year for them. I think they need to win it because, like you said, and Dennis is right. Joe Burrow's team is better, right? Now, Kelsey is undeniable. He's one of the best to ever do it. He is the best to ever do it.
He's fantastic.
But the rest of that team, they don't really have a star or anything like that.
No, they're solid.
Yeah. So I think Burrow's weapons are better, and I think they're gonna be better. Right. So I think Mahomes is going to have to be that much better than Burrow to get the job done. I really do.
I do too. If they win, it's going to be because of Mahomes.
Listen, I still have Mahomes number 1. Don't get me wrong. But
I do too.
The debate really gets heated.
I wouldn't mind having either one of them.
Well, yeah.
I think Mahomes can beat you with less than what Burrow can.
I think that's been proven. Yeah.
He can win with a lesser ability team where Burrows may not be able to do quite as much as Mahomes.
Right.
That's no knock on Burrows either. But this is very interesting for the Chiefs because 5 years of winning the division, 5 years of being in the finals, and I believe they've played all 5 games. This will be the 5th game at home.
Yes. Yes.
And they've been to 2 Super Bowls. I mean, first of all, anybody that's knocking this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is pretty damn good. But when you're paying a guy $50 million a year, and that's not his fault, you expect to win more than 1 Super Bowl.
Yes.
And again, none of this is his fault. He does everything he possibly can do. I love these Chiefs fans when the Chiefs do lose, which isn't very often. Damn Mahomes, he sucked.
Yeah,
all the time.
I know.
He threw for 375 yards, and maybe he threw a couple of interceptions, but he did quite a bit to win the game. Oh, he sucked. He was awful. How many times do you hear that? I hear that not very often because they don't lose very often.
Yeah.
But I'd take him. No, it's very interesting. That's a great analysis. You can't argue with either one of them.
No.
But They pushed Allen to 3.
I think it's clear. Yeah. I mean, they need to win. That's the bottom line. They need to win this game.
I agree. Everything's broken for them again to where they got the home field, and they earned it. I have deep respect for the Chiefs. I do. Mm-hmm. I don't like them, but I have deep respect for them. What they do year in and year out is pretty incredible. It's a great franchise. It really is.
Well, they're all 3 of those quarterbacks to talk about are in the AFC, and like Kevin B said, could be the new Manning, Brady, Roethlisberger there. With
very good, Kevin. Very good.
That's good. Yeah.
See, the NFC does not. The NFC doesn't have that right now.
No.
They don't have the quarterbacks. And that's why they're below the AFC at the moment.
Yeah, but Eagles could go beat them, and then everything, or the Niners could go beat whoever wins, and then everything.
Let me ask you this: let's say the Eagles win,
mm-hmm.
and either one of these, Bengals or Chiefs, take your pick. Who are you picking in the Super Bowl? I don't pick the Eagles.
No, I would pick the Bengals or the Chiefs. Yeah,
I would too. Now, if I see the Eagles go out and win 50 to 10 or something, or 40 to 10, I may change my mind. But
yeah.
I can't. And I think they'll be 4 or 5 point favorites, don't you? Well, it depends on what the Eagles do.
That'll be interesting to see how that works out.
I don't give the 49ers a chance.
Well, one thing about it, we get another data point this week, and that's something to think about.
Yeah. And
all right.
Something totally different.
Yep, that's true. All right. It's time. It's time to end the show. We got more shows coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Featuring Magic and Somich doing the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park. Big races at Gulfstream, I heard, coming up this weekend. So
I think there's some.
Yep, they will be covering that. We've got a photo finish in the 9th at Gulfstream. I have no idea who won. Dennis thinks it's a dead heat. We'll see what happens there. So a lot going on. All right. Any final thoughts?
No. Trying to think what I'm going to do tonight.
You're going to, what you're going to do tonight. You're going to watch Blinkers Off.
After that, though. I'm going to go to bed by the time that's over.
I don't think you're watching it. All right. We're getting out of here. Guys, join us for Magic Mike coming up here in 46 minutes. The Magic Mike Show, and then Blinkers Off coming on at 6 p.m. Central. Pegasus wagering guide should be out a little bit before Blinkers Off, would be my guess. I don't really know when. It's not in my hands right now, but I would think a little bit before Blinkers Off. That will be released as well, and so all that will be done and over with. All right. We're done.
We're done.
Yep. It's going to be a great weekend. Have
great
fun.
Weekend.
Good luck, everybody.
Don't forget college basketball, too. Man, it is heating up.
Nobody cares. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Haldeman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.